So welcome back to the third part of Raw J's vlog. My name is Jonathan Carenti, and just to recap what I spoke about in the last video, part two. So I had remembered the sexual abuse after working the 12 steps. At first it was my grandfather that I remembered, and then it was my mother. And I had the repressed memories for about a year and a half. I worked through them. Like I had said, thank God for my girlfriend at the time, because she was very spiritual. She was a very strong woman, and she knew exactly how to like help me and support me in it. Because I think if I did it by myself, if I had gotten those memories by myself, forget it. I don't even want to know what would have happened. But I don't think I would have been able to handle it. Even though I was clean, it was a shock to my system. Emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally. Probably more mentally than anything. And emotionally. I still wasn't at a point where I could handle emotions, and these were emotions that were on another level. Like the shame I had around being abused by my own mother and even other people in my family. My father, my grandfather. It was rough. It was very rough. And so when I had all those repressed memories, there were a lot of things going on in my life. And it had gotten to a point in my relationship where it's like I didn't even want to like deal with the abuse, and I also wasn't doing my part as a man in the relationship. Like I literally wanted to be taken care of. And so we had gotten to a point where we just had to go our separate ways. Like being in the relationship wasn't helping me because I was using her as a crutch to not do anything and wanting her to fix everything. And then obviously being that way was also holding her back. So we just needed to go our separate ways. Maybe things could have been different if I handled it differently, obviously. But you know, things happen for a reason. A fire got lit under my ass because of that. So thank God on some level that it happened. Because it's what I needed. I needed to be alone and figure this out for myself without anybody. Like I can count on one hand how many friends I had. Like this was a journey I needed to take by myself in the beginning to get to a point where I didn't play victim and I took full responsibility for it. And having people around me gave me an out. So I knew this was divinely orchestrated for me to grow up as a man. So that's when I went on this I don't want to call it escapade, but I went on this healing journey. And I've gotten to a point now where it's funny. I feel this year for me, and then I'll go back. This year for me, I feel is a year of manifesting things. I've done the healing to get to this point. And I may never be done with the healing, but I've gotten to a point where it's not necessarily, I'm trying to figure out the right way to put this. And maybe there is no right way to put this. It's not holding me back anymore. Sure, certain things come up and it's tied to my childhood, but the abuse part of it is not holding me back. There are always things that I work through that are tied to, you know, incidences when I was a kid or teenager or 20s or whatever. But between that time of the ending of that relationship, which would have been 2015, mid 2015, let's say spring 2015, to the end of last year. So that's about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. It was about healing. That was my healing journey. And I remember obviously moving out, getting my own, living on my own. And it's when I started like really journaling. I started meditating. Like I remember during my time of when I was working the 12 steps, and even with the abuse, when I was going through that, I couldn't freaking meditate. Like I couldn't even deal with myself. Seriously. Like it was that bad. There was just so much stuff going on in my head that it was like, I didn't want to even go there. You want me to like sit with myself? You're out of your mind. Like I have a problem. I feel like I'm a 4-year-old in a 35-year-old body, and you want me to sit with that? Yeah, good luck with that. So it took me a bit. And that time that from when we broke up to, me moving out and figuring this out on my own is when I started journaling. I started asking questions like, what's going on here? Like, why can't I do this? Or why can't I do that? Like I started asking those questions, certain questions about myself. And the number one thing that kept coming up for me was you need to love yourself. And this was coming up before, when I was working the 12 steps and when I was going through the abuse. But I was like, it didn't hit me kind of like how it's hit me in the past couple years. It's like, love myself. Like, one, I don't even know how to do that. What the hell does that look like? What the hell does it feel like? Like give me some sort of instructions, because I don't know how to do that. I have no clue. And then, so I was meditating, journaling, and the major thing that was coming up for me was the learning to love myself. Like I need to love myself. And then it eventually hit me with that I need to love all aspects. The good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay, now we're getting somewhere, Jonathan. Because I was literally my worst enemy. There was a part of me, like I wanted to destroy myself. There's a part of me like I just want to get rid of. Like I didn't even want to deal with it. And now I look back at it, and it's a little crazy, but it was part of my growth. It was that inner child part of me that wanted the attention that it never got. It wanted some acknowledgement. It wanted to be heard. It wanted to be told that it's okay what happened and that it's not his fault. There's a lot of deep-seated stuff there because I want to get rid of that part of me. Like I wanted to literally destroy. I'm like, how do I get rid of this? Like this part is holding me back. And the same thing kept coming. You need to love yourself. You need to love yourself. And then it hit me. Like I need to love that part of me. That part that's hurt. That part that's angry, that's upset about what happened. The part that's confused. Why did it happen? All those parts. I need to learn to love all that part. And so I started with the journaling, started meditating. I remember that time when it hit me that I could meditate, I actually started doing like the yoga online, and they had a meditation, and it was like 17 minutes. Now, mind you, I couldn't go 5. Literally, I couldn't go 5. I couldn't deal with myself. But I had been, doing some work on myself. So I remember sitting down one morning and doing it. And it was like a semi-guided meditation where there were points where, the person wasn't speaking. And I remember going through it, and it like flew by. And afterwards, I was like, wow, like I just sat here for 17 minutes. This is like huge breakthrough. Just to see where I was at. I'm like, okay, I can do this. And I kept doing it. Kept meditating. And then as I'm going on, throughout, day-to-day, things come up, work through them. I felt like I needed more. And there was one thing that I always wanted to do was I always wanted to go to a Tony Robbins event. And so I ended up going to one. And that's what started like this healing journey. That's what like really started it, of really getting to know myself and loving myself. And so I did that. And then I started doing sound baths and breath work. And so I did that. And then it was just like, it was like a domino effect of what had happened. So it was, the events, the sound baths, meditating, journaling. I started working on, like chiropractic care and working on my chakras and like clearing out energy from, the abuse. Different seminars, different events. Did a men's retreat, which was probably the most profound thing. Out of all the healing stuff that I did was the men's retreat. It was so intense that I dislocated my shoulder. That's how intense it was. But that's probably for another video. But yeah, like what I discovered during that men's retreat was profound. Basically, the conclusion that I had come to was what I had realized through the work that gets done on that weekend was that I had formed this wall around my heart where I didn't feel safe giving love or receiving it because of the stuff that had transpired when I was younger between getting abused from my parents. So I worked through, breaking that wall down and just being more open. And it completely changed my life. Completely changed it. And so I did the men's retreat and I did, some other stuff. And I've actually been working on a lot of like energy work. Clearing out old stuck energy, old like mindsets. And I'm not quite sure on how to describe it, but so I'll explain kind of what I do when something comes up. So I have a morning routine, a morning practice. I'm always, journaling, maybe not every day, but quite a few times a week when I feel that I need to. Definitely meditating throughout the day, in the mornings, before I go to work. But like my process of clearing stuff out is so quick now. I remember years ago, I couldn't even deal with freaking emotions. Now, I literally am checking in with, every time I feel off, I'm like checking in with myself and clearing stuff out. That's how on top of this I am. I'm like obsessed with it because I'm obsessed because I know how I feel when I'm not like triggered by something. So get a lot of anxiety, nervousness about this, about that, starting new things. I mean, for example, like I'm doing this vlog. If you knew me when I was a kid, like through my teenage years or through my 20s, you'd be like, I was so quiet and shy. And now I'm like the complete opposite. Now I'm here and I'm doing videos and I'm sharing about myself. That's how far I've come. That's how far I've come in roughly like 10 years. But I don't want to put down the work that I did in the first 5, but in the past couple years is when I've made like leaps and bounds of progress. Huge leaps of where I was to where I am now. Huge. And out of all this, the most important thing is, it's not necessarily like being successful or having the big house or, having lots of money. It's my peace. If I'm not at peace, forget it. That's the most important thing to me. I don't care about anything else. Like, I want to be happy and I want to be at peace. I want to be at peace with myself, and I want to be at a point where I don't allow anything on the outside to disturb my inner peace. That's literally how important it is to me. I don't care about what's in my bank account, where I live. It's my peace. If I don't have my peace, I won't be able to get, I won't be happy. That's basically what it comes down to. My peace, my inner peace equals my happiness. And so that's literally what I've just been working on, especially the last 6 months, 8 months, is deepening my meditation practice, journaling. Anytime stuff comes up, I work through it. I have a certain, I don't know, you want to call it regimen or like protocol on how I work through things, using all types of different modalities. Using EFT, tapping, journaling, meditation. Just kind of like whatever I feel I need to clear stuff out in order to get to that place where I'm peaceful. And so it's honestly been like mind-blowing. Because if you asked me this 5 years ago and you told me that I was going to be doing a vlog, I would have thought you were out of your mind. And just for me to be sitting here talking about this is huge. Because when I was younger, I was so shy. I want to hide in the corner. I'm hiding, I'm going with the crowd. Now this is literally, I feel, not only like I had stated in the first video, that this is a gift to myself, but also this is, I feel, the next step in my healing journey. Because I've lived in this little box my whole life, and I kept myself there, not wanting to express myself, not wanting to really be who I am, for fear of, something might happen. Like, I used to think that the abuse was tied in to me being who I was as a kid. So I had to fit in with the crowd of my family in order not to get abused. But at the end of the day, obviously that didn't happen because I still got abused. But like, I just developed that belief. And so doing this vlog, I feel, is the next step of my healing. That I'm actually free to express myself and say what I want and say what I feel, and that it's okay and that nothing's gonna happen. Out there, it doesn't matter what happens out there. What matters is me and how I feel. And if I stay with my truth, then it doesn't matter what people think. I know why I'm doing this, and that's it. End of story. Regardless of if people like it or not. Like, I need to do this for myself. And I know just from my own experience, it's tough trying to like deal with those emotions. One, if you're dealing with an addiction, but two, if you add in, repressed memories of childhood trauma, childhood sexual abuse, you put in any of that into it, it's tough to navigate. Like, some people just don't know. So that's the other aspect of it, is I've been blessed to get to this place where I'm at, of actually being able to deal with anything that comes up. For the most part. I mean, some things are obviously more difficult than others, but I mean, for the most part, life isn't always perfect. So, but being able to get to this point where I'm self-sustainable, I don't even know if that's a word, but I can handle things myself without having to go cry for help. I can manage my own feelings. Getting to that place and then sharing my experiences. Hopefully it helps someone who maybe doesn't know exactly how to start. But it's like you have to just start somewhere. And that's kind of how I feel with this vlog. It's like, I don't really know where this is going, but I just know that I just need to put these out there. For somebody, this is the next step. Whatever comes of it, but I just need to put it out there. I need to stop being afraid, stop, being in that box that I was always in. So with that being said, this is the third part of my introduction videos. And so I just want to thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you like it, hit the like button, comment. I'm always interested in hearing, what people have to say. I know these things aren't perfect, nor am I trying to make it perfect. Like, I'm just trying to make it as real as possible. Like, no fluff, no BS. It's just, it is what it is. Like, it's, it's Raw Jay's vlog. And if you like it, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And now this concludes my background, and I'm going to start working on specific videos. And until next time, I'll see you.